All right, awesome. Here today, we actually have with us Fammy. Fammy, I kind of consider you the number one in spirits amiibo right now. Do you agree, disagree? What do you have to say?
I think I'm top three, at least top three in terms of results. I'm like one of the only trainers that is really doing anything in spirits. Like any of the top vanilla trainers.
As far as it goes out, I agree with that. I agree with that. Especially with there's a lot of vanilla players, and I don't think that they have that result that you have. So I definitely agree with that. What got you into Amiibo? Like what just what put you towards that passion of, hey, I want to get into Amiibo. Like this is what I want to do.
It all started with me seeing the Wario amiibo considered as low tier.
Right.
And so I joined some tournaments, really wanting to prove to people that Wario can be high tier in amiibo. It took me months to finally get a win with any character, and it was Mega Man.
Really?
On accident.
On accident. On accident.
Yeah.
Interesting. How did that come about?
So Mega Man back then was also considered low tier. And I just trained a Mega Man and submitted him to a tournament and he won. And I'm like, okay, cool.
So let me ask you. You got well established in the community. You've had some really good results. What's your favorite thing about the Amiibo community?
Yeah, we're a smaller community. It's so small that we pretty much all know each other. And I've been able to make a lot of good friends around here that I probably wouldn't have made otherwise. Like quarantine, if it wasn't for Amiibo, I would have gone insane during quarantine.
Yes, yes. I think just Smash in general, I would have completely gone insane. There's no way I could have kept up. Obviously, we hosted Amiibology, the first one, back in February, right? Yeah, I think it was February. And that was kind of the answer tournament to the Raid Boss Open. So I know a lot of people were a little displeased with how the Raid Boss Open was ran, just because of the whole Incineroar thing. It definitely kind of feels like Amiibology was really the first large Amiibo tournament that had a decent rule set. How did you feel winning that, man? I mean, you came back under losers, you ran it back against Pikachu, you reset the bracket, and you won. Like, how did that feel?
I wanted to cry. I never thought I would cry over some plastic toys with NFC chips in them.
Right.
Like, at the same time, I was dead tired.
Right.
I barely slept, too. I was just
training, right?
busy. I was just busy training and testing counters.
We had talked afterwards, right? And I know you said you had done all that and you prepared a lot and things like that. And I really feel like the preparation is so key within Amiibo, and I think that just shows your talent, man. Like, you were willing to dedicate yourself to planning, and I think that's a huge part as to why you won, truly and honestly. It's because you tested religiously just to see what was going to happen with the counter picks and all that, things like that. So, what led you to pick Captain Falcon there in the end?
For some reason, my Captain Falcon has a decent history with King DDD.
Okay.
Yet he got knocked into losers with Falcon by a King DDD. I think it's just because I didn't really have much. Like, I had things like Lucas, me Sword Fighter, which I ran.
It just kind of seems like that Falcon. I mean, isn't Falcon? He's not considered like top tier, right? He's kind of like a little bit low, like not low tier, but he's like low high, I guess, is where he is on the medal list, right?
Yeah. People have been arguing recently that he's high tier when he's like the top mid high tier when he's like the bottom of high tier.
Right.
Like currently on the tier list, he's top of B plus. People are arguing that he should be mid A, but in vanilla, he loses to a lot of random things like Lucario, Ice Climbers, and Kirby.
Now that you're this, bigger name in the Amiibo community, if somebody new wanted to come into the community, right? What would be some advice that you would give them? Like, if you could give them, like, I don't know, like one or two sentences of just some advice, what would you tell them, Fammy?
This might be the most cliche thing ever, but just don't give up. It took me months to finally get a win.
You're not always going to find that immediate success necessarily. It takes time to kind of fine tune things. So I definitely agree with that. I mean, even with my streaming, I didn't really find success. I trust me, there's a lot of times I wanted to quit. And I'm very lucky that I had a great support system to keep pushing me on. But we also had a lot of people chat for Amiibologists as well. How do you feel about the Amiibologists with you being within the Amiibo community and the Amiibologist being created? Like, do you think it was a positive influence? Like, what was your thoughts just in general about its existence?
I could say that I've been on the first competitive Amiibo team. There hasn't really been anything else like it since we're such a small community. Some people take it like, wow, I beat an Amiibologist in bracket.
Yeah, they're like, I guess it's almost like something to attain to. We have a new roster of Amiibologists, right? And Amiibo G2 coming up here. Actually, on the 29th of this month, so we're a little less than 2 weeks away currently, and I'm sure we're gonna have a great showing from everybody. But what's your thoughts about Amiibo G2? Do you have a plan? I know the rule set is the exact same, so what are you thinking is going to happen this time around?
It's going to be really scary with the 3 new DLC amiibo, Terry Banjo Byleth.
It'll make a big difference.
Like, Falcon isn't just going to cover those for me. I got to think more harder. There's arguments out there that are placing Terry and Byleth up with Bowser and King K. Rool.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Byleth has an insane AI, so I could kind of almost see that in a way. Well, Fammy, it was a pleasure having you here today. Thank you for your time. Was there anything else that you wanted to add before we get off here?
Amiibo gay.
Well, Fammy, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, man, and looking forward to your results in Amiibology 2.